Tell me a story.
My little one was just running around saying some nonsense, and I forgot what he said, but I said something effective like, I was like, buddy, I've got a real problem believing that to be true. To which my oldest son immediately retorted, well, then you've got a problem with the truth. I just looked at them and I was like I'm never speechless.
Wow.
I was pretty much speechless because it wasn't even half a beat and he was just on it. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay.
Quiet, please.
You're right.
Where did you get that?
I don't think I've said those words in that order, but he is definitely
In
putting
4.
things together.
No, sure.
3.
I was speechless, but I was proud.
2.
The Alpha Company presents a truly terrible podcast. Welcome to Nonsense, Season 3, Episode 62. I'm Jeff Parker.
I'm Stu Little.
This is our take on the week's business, tech, and entertainment headlines. This time, debris damages Chinese return capsule, stranding astronauts.
You know, based on my 748 AliExpress orders, I didn't even think you could return stuff to China.
Grim warning, why this flu season could be one of the worst ever.
Jeff, fortunately, everyone is vaccinated, so we should be just... Oh, wait.
San Francisco residents demand local control over Waymos.
Why? Because Waymos make human drivers look bad.
Also, our big story later this week is about card sharks with USB sticks, cheating at cards in the modern age. We are here Thursday with that story, and then we'll be taking a little Thanksgiving break, which I'm excited about.
Just for me to eat, basically.
Yeah. How's your week going?
My week is wonderful. Have you ever heard about these things called refrigerators?
I have.
Are you familiar with these?
It's a big part of my Thanksgiving celebration. It's one of the things I'm most thankful for.
I mean, they're simple machines, really. They're not hard. They're sealed systems. There's not a lot to them, even the complicated ones.
And yet my Sub-Zero will break every year without fail.
Oh, well, yeah, that is how that thing works. It's basically like it's kind of like those machines you get at the arcade where you put like dollar bills in and coins come out. It's like that, but the coins don't come out. You just put the dollar bills in. It's just a one-way street. My main fridge and freezer failed last week, which was mildly concerning. And I texted my repair guy, who is lovely, and I said, hey, I think the compressor's toast. Can you come by tomorrow to take a look? And I waited about 20 minutes and he didn't respond, and I have no patience. So I was like, well, let me just go through the diagnostics, because it's a simple machine. It's not hard.
Sure.
So I got a voltmeter, started taking stuff apart, and I come to realize pretty quickly that I think the compressor was fine. Mm-hmm. Mine is a more advanced compressor that uses an inverter to run it instead of like a start capacitor and run capacitor. So I was like, oh, I can just order these parts and do it myself. It's literally like 4 screws. It's not hard.
Yeah.
And on my fridge, it's a built-in, so it's on top. It's not behind you. You don't even have to slide the damn thing out. And long story not so long, I got the parts, got legit OE parts, and I put them in. It took me longer to clean the dust off the condenser than to replace both the main board and the inverter, which is crazy.
I'm so jealous. What brand is your fridge?
It's a GE Monogram.
Oh.
And it actually seems to be really well made. I'm actually pretty impressed.
Well, GE makes pretty good stuff.
I swapped the parts out and it worked just fine. And I was very suspect, and I was like, let me give it some time to cool down, because it took a while, and I was monitoring it. And it's great. It's perfect. Yeah. That was on Wednesday of last week. Friday night, my guy texts me back. He's like, hey, inverters on those like to die. He's like, I'll come by tomorrow and replace it. And I was like, buddy,
got it.
You're 2 days late. Like, where have you been? I did it. He's like, oh, great. He's like, you did it yourself. I was like, like, it's not that hard. So we had a good laugh, but that is fine.
I don't even think I can buy parts for mine. I think you have to be a dealer to buy parts.
Yeah. Okay. So you do. Let me tell you about that problem. You just show up. Because what are they going to do? Escort you out? Like,
yes,
I literally went to the same. No, they're fine. They'll sell to you. Like, the thing is, they have a cash rate that's really high. And you basically go in there and you be like, blah, 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 blah. And they'll usually give it to you. Sometimes they ask for a contractor's license. I usually have a friend that I can use or something. For the most part, they'll do it. And you're still going to pay less. Now, here's the worst part. The same parts existed on Amazon. OE parts on Amazon, sold by Amazon.
Oh, I'm sure that's true.
For about 40% less. And I ordered them. However, they took another day to get here and I didn't want to wait. So I bought the local ones and put them in. But I got ones from Amazon and they're exactly the same. Yeah. I'm just gonna return them. So anyway.
I bought a part for a car that I have that needed, and it was not an OE part, and it could not have worked better. It was perfect. It was
it's one of the great advantages of the internet. I mean, unfortunately, it brought us social media, but you can get car and fridge parts. So it's a trade-off, like most things.
It also has basically killed the value of brands, because now you don't care what some brand used to.
I do.
You used to rely on this brand. Oh, I don't.
No.
I can go see Google reviews. I can go see YouTube reviews. I can actually things that can be that do things that can be quantified.
Sure.
And checked. I can have them and I can see results and go, yeah, this is probably better.
If I'm buying find something important, I want a brand behind it that has something to lose. So but it's moved the brand. So I don't need to buy the Volkswagen filter for my Audi. I will happily buy the MAN filter because MAN OE makes filters for Audi. And I know I'm getting the same damn filter.
Sure.
And I'm just paying a third less. That I'm happy to do. Oil filters I'm not buying off AliExpress anytime soon. That just sounds like a terrible idea. So that's not going to happen.
I do watch the reviews. If it does something, I want to see who does it better.
Sure. Oil filter cross sections is a level of insanity I'm not going down for a daily driver. Maybe for one of my race cars, but not a daily driver. But I buried the lead. The refrigerator was a time suck. We got through it. It's fine. It's done. The lead that I buried is I was hanging out with some old friends from college that we all haven't been together in the same room for a number of years, and just sort of chatting. One of my buddies told me that I am responsible for one of the top 5 funniest moments he's ever witnessed. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And I remember, of course, the time, and it was very funny.
What was the funniest moment?
Oh, it's not going to be. I was in an airport. We were in college. We were doing idiotic things. Basically, somebody taped a jacket with a stuffed animal on it to my head. And I couldn't, this is 100% true. And I couldn't get away from them. So I just started walking.
Sure.
I couldn't see. I had literally a jacket taped to my head. And I just started walking, and I kind of knew spatially where I was, but I didn't know which way I was pointed. I know. We were in an airport coming back from an international trip to China, of all places. I walked right over the bar of an escalator and flipped right over onto the bottom of the escalator. Yeah. And it was loud. And let me tell you, it hurt.
I'm sure.
But it was super funny. And apparently he said that was one of the top 5 funniest things he's ever seen. And instead of me questioning why it was on his list, I instead said, okay, well, now I want one of the other 4 slots too.
Sure.
So now I feel like I need to find a way to get in one of the other top 4 slots. And that made me very happy. So that was my week. I realized when I tell the story that way, it's not that funny. Here's the part that I sort of steamrolled over. Because I'm a clown, when we were in China, this was with the hockey team I played with in college. We were in China. I like to find odd things. I like to buy odd things when I'm on trips. And I found this stuffed animal about 2 feet high that had this giant, we called him Dick Nose, because he had a giant nose that looked like a dick.
Okay. All right.
So they taped Dick Nose to my head. I had fallen asleep on a jacket with Dick Nose, and they taped the jacket and Dick Nose to my head. So that's why it was funny.
Gotcha.
As I was walking around with Dick Nose on my head.
Sure.
And at some point I got rid of Dick Nose, and I really regret it because he was my peep. He was a cool stuffed animal. But he had this giant dong for a nose.
No, I get the idea.
It wasn't like an exaggerated Roman nose. Yeah. It was a dick for a nose. And it was just the funniest thing.
I fully understand.
I don't think you're following.
Sure.
His nose was a giant dick.
Yeah, I heard you.
Anyway, yeah, so I was playing with my fridge. That's what I did all weekend. How about you? How's your week going?
Well, I did not think there was a way I could prefer the fridge story, but it turns out there was.
Now the fridge story's on your top 5 list.
My week is simple. I am super excited. My kid is coming home for Thanksgiving, and
yay!
Yeah, and the reality is, once he gets here, he's going to bolt off and go hang out with his own friends, which is totally fine and
catch in the cradle.
Yeah, completely cool. But nonetheless, the whole thing just absolutely delights me.
You're just going to sit in the couch in the dark, wait for him to get home.
The other thing is, in Southern California, we are having so much rain. We are having a deluge of rain, and that means I don't get to do my morning hike, which means I'm mostly grumpy Jeff.
Yeah.
But I love the rain. But I totally miss hiking. But the rain is cool.
You need like an indoor hiking simulator.
Nope.
Yeah, it'll be like a treadmill, and then what I'll do is occasionally I'll have like a rattlesnake jump out and try to attack you, right? And then here's the part: in order to get into the hiking simulator in your room, parking's terrible. Like I'm gonna just take all the parking around your house. That's gonna take you a while to park, and then you'll get in. That's my plan.
I go early enough that I don't have any trouble parking.
Of course you do. Of course you do. You're one of those guys who's like, oh, I slept in today. Didn't get up till 5:30. All right, Jeff. All right.
Oh, no. It's great, actually. There was a while there where I was literally getting out of my car as daybreak was beginning, and I loved that. And then daylight savings happened and messed all that up.
Even the rattlesnakes weren't awake yet. Even the rattlesnakes were like, dude, come on. I'm not even ready to bite you.
It's cold enough now. The rattlesnakes are whatever they do, they go in their holes. Or I don't
they go to Mexico.
Do they? Is that what they do? They migrate? I had no idea. Do they fly? Do they? The birds carry them?
The birds carry them.
Work?
They've got they work together. The birds carry them down there. They snowbird. They call it snow snaking. Yeah. They snow snake usually down like around Cancun.
I have no idea how that works.
It's pretty chill.
I know that these snakes, we don't see the snakes much in the winter at all, which allows me to bring my dog up hiking with me. Otherwise, in the summer, I don't bring the dog up because there could be rattlesnakes.
Well, this has been Fridges and Hikes with CJ and Jeff. What are we doing? We're 10 minutes in. We're still talking about fridges and hikes.
Are we still doing this show? I don't
even know.
Let us get to our headlines because, CJ's complaining.
That's how you know it's bad.
Space junk traps 3 Tiangong crew stranded after debris strike. 3 Chinese astronauts are stranded aboard the Tiangong space station after space debris damaged their only safe return vehicle. Commander Chen Dong and 2 crewmates narrowly avoided disaster, making an unconventional return to Earth using the newer Shenzhou 21 spacecraft after their original Shenzhou 20 was declared unsafe. A small crack, likely caused by space debris, was found on the window glass of Shenzhou 20, making it unfit for safe manned return. The 3 replacement astronauts who arrived on Shenzhou 21 are now stuck in orbit with only the damaged Shenzhou 20 as their potential lifeboat. China will launch a replacement craft, Shenzhou 22, at a later date to resupply the crew and eventually bring them home. This event underscores the major unpredictable risk posed by space junk.
Yeah, space junk or just space travel at large.
Sure.
There's a lot to go wrong. Of course, what I want to say is, Chinese space program stranding astronauts in space. We would never do that. Wait.
But we just did.
Wait. We just did that. Except at least they get to blame it on space junk. We get to just blame it on Boeing, which I guess is another form of space junk, but that's neither
it's a
here
different
nor
kind
there.
of space junk.
This is terrible. I think, look, they've left the Shenzhou 20 there, as they said, as potential lifeboat.
Yeah.
They don't know that it wouldn't work. They're just out of an abundance of caution. They're like, it's got a cracked windshield. Let's make an insurance claim. We'll get Safelite out there.
They get Safelite up. They'll fix it. Exactly.
Could you imagine calling it in? Safe's like, where is this? You're like, it's like 200 miles away.
Above.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Can you? I also love them preempting the conversation with, "What's your service area? What's the range?" I'm like, we'll go up to 300 miles away. They're like, oh, good.
Okay, come on up.
Yeah, no, this is a bummer. I think the next supply vehicle was, supposed to be unmanned. It was going to be a cargo vessel. So
yeah.
I think once they get that there, then they'll have a way out. But it just goes to show how difficult space travel is. It's really amazing that they've come this far with their space program.
What happened to Shenzhou 19, 1 through 19? Aren't there other vehicles that can bring them home? Well, it seems like with this numbering system, and
they come back.
They come back where?
To the Earth.
But then we keep them, don't we? Or do they just die?
Well, we don't keep them. The Chinese keep them.
The humans do. The people do.
Yeah, but they've got 22. The problem isn't they don't have a vehicle. They have 22. They just got to figure out when they want to launch it. Now, my understanding is they always keep one module, one capsule, and one rocket prepared on standby. So if they had to do something emergent, they could. Which sounds like, first of all, not what I would expect from an emerging space program, but sounds like the absolute right thing to do. So very pleased.
No, the absolute right thing to do would be to have 10. But yes, one is great.
10. I think the problem with that, especially with a program that's going this fast, is then you're going to always have 9 or 10 of the old thing.
Yeah, sure.
I get that you want N plus some number redundancy. N plus 1 is a lot better than N plus 0. Does N plus 2 get you that much better? Probably not. I don't know. You go from 0 to 95 and then 95 to 97%. I don't know. These are some of the real risks, I think, that come along with this. But I'm confident that they're going to do just fine here. They seem to be approaching this professionally.
In other space news, U.S. spy satellites built by SpaceX send signals in the wrong direction. SpaceX-built Starshield spy satellites for the U.S. government are controversially transmitting signals in a frequency band internationally designated for Earth-to-space uplinks. Satellite researcher Scott Tilley discovered that over 170 satellites are using this band for space-to-Earth downlinks. This unexpected activity, though not yet reported to cause interference, raises serious concerns about the U.S. government's lack of transparency and its failure to coordinate international spectrum use with countries like Canada.
Yeah, this one confuses me. This doesn't seem to be like we're just going to go break stuff and ask for forgiveness later. I don't, is everything else saturated? I mean, they've got plenty of bandwidth, I would think, to be able to get data down. I don't know why they're doing this. I don't think it was an oversight. I think it was like willful ignoring of international
rules, of course.
Yeah.
How could it be an oversight? I mean, that's a huge oversight if that's true.
Well, you don't know if maybe one of their contractors uses the imperial units for frequency and the other one uses standard units. One is oscillations per second. The other one is oscillations per frog hair vibrations. I don't know.
I think radio is all going to be measured in metric. I don't think there's any possibility.
Man, you would hope so. Could you imagine if radio was different across imperial and metric? Could you imagine?
There'd be no way to make it work.
There'd be no way. What? How would you possibly communicate? Yet somehow we make vehicles, international collaborative vehicles, using different units of measurement and somehow make it work.
We somehow are just ignoring internationally agreed upon transmission protocol, for where we will transmit data up and where we'll transmit data down. And we are just folding our arms and saying, this is what we're doing.
No, we're not doing that. We're folding our arms and just doing it. We're not even saying this is what we're doing.
It's horrible.
It required Scott Tilley to figure it out.
But this doesn't just affect affect Canada. As it turns out, and I have this on good authority, the Earth spins. So you're getting this all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, yes, the Earth does.
The satellites,
spin.
I know, I'm being
The satellites
silly,
are going.
Satellites are going around even faster too.
Yeah.
But you're 17. But you are getting.
I was rounding up. It's like 17,500 in low orbit. It's faster. I mean,
but
we can fight about it if you want to fight about it. That's fine. Math.
You are getting this. You are getting this space to Earth downlink radio broadcast all over the Earth, and you've agreed you're not going to do this.
Well, I do believe they're using a fairly directional antenna, so I think that helps. But yes, you've agreed not to do it. But when has the U.S. ever not done what they've agreed to?
Such arrogance.
Might want to ask the fine folks in Ukraine how they feel about our promises.
Hospitals beware. The flu arrived early and it's brutal. The Northern Hemisphere faces a potentially grim flu season driven by a new mutated H3N2 strain that emerged over the summer. This new variant may evade immune response, leading to a surge in severe illnesses and putting significant strain on hospitals. The UK season started 5 weeks early and is rapidly escalating, prompting officials to brace for one of the toughest winters in history. In the UK, H3N2 accounts for over 90% of analyzed cases and is known to cause more severe illnesses, especially in older adults.
Here's one of the other examples. There's not many of these, but another example where you really want to be in Ohio, because this is where it's going to take 5 years to get to Ohio. Yeah. Like right now, they are still watching Press Your Luck live and very excited about the original screening and Quantum Leap. That's all they're watching.
The U.S. is crucially unprepared. The health infrastructure has been weakened by funding cuts, and a government shutdown has halted detailed CDC flu surveillance reports. The U.S. activity is currently low, but it is beginning to pick up.
Well, yeah, okay. It's not just that. Yes, it's weakened by funding cuts and us being shut down for a month and a half. Of course. We also have a bunch of people that don't believe science.
Yeah.
And aren't going to get, if you're not getting a COVID shot, you're not getting a flu shot, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that's a 1-to-1.
I don't know. I hope there's people who would get flu shots who, for whatever reason, won't get COVID shots. I mean,
I feel like that logic carries from one to the other. And flu being typically less brutal than COVID, it seems unlikely someone's going to be like, oh, I'll get a flu shot, but I'm going to say no to the COVID shot.
This is a brutal, brutal flu.
Yeah.
You want to get vaccinated. You want to, and by the way, the current flu vaccination is not a 1-to-1 match for what H3N2 is.
No.
But it's close enough that it will have meaningful protection against hospitalization.
Especially for kids.
75% in children. Yeah. 30 to 40% in adults. Getting vaccinated remains the best defense against a potentially very bad season.
I'm not a good canary for testing on this, because I usually respond to vaccines very well. I did get the flu vaccine a couple weeks ago and felt almost no effect from it at all. I had one day where like I was maybe a teensy bit more tired, but no aches, nothing. It was, but even if it wasn't, usually you'd expect a day and a half of feeling pretty crappy, achy, joint pain, sleepy, stuff like that. Even in that case, it's way better than getting the flu.
I get it pretty bad. 12 hours goes by and I'm just fine, and all of a sudden after 12 hours I'm just miserable. I feel like I've got a fever, and I'm absolutely miserable. And then 24 hours, as if someone switched a switch for a light.
They did. That's exactly what they did.
All of those symptoms go away and I'm fine.
They give that to you so your body can be like, what is this? And it prepares. And then after that, it's like, okay, we got it.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. It just did a training enactment. It's like the guys that cosplay at Gettysburg, but doing it before the attack.
Totally.
Never thought about it that way.
It's so predictable, though. It is. I can literally set my watch by it.
I feel like it's almost worth going. If you have a time machine,
go
back to before Gettysburg. You're like, look, here's what's going to happen.
Here's
where they're coming in. Just give them all the plans, and then just be like, and then see what happens.
What happens then is that Michael J. Fox fades from the photograph. You've messed with the time-space continuum.
Shit. The Libyans were right. Don't screw with this. We are idiots.
Bumper to bumper bureaucracy. The new fight over robotaxi safety. San Francisco supervisor Jackie Feelers demanding local control over robotaxis after a Waymo self-driving car killed Kit Kat, a beloved bodega cat. Waymo admitted fault and offered sympathy and made a donation to a animal shelter.
Yeah.
But Fielder argues that local communities, not the state, should decide if and how autonomous vehicles operate.
Well, that's a terrible idea.
Local oversight?
Yes.
You don't think every resident on every street should have oversight over their own little section of the street?
Understand my position here. Generally speaking, I love cats.
Yeah.
I certainly think I'm predisposed to loving a cat named Kit Kat.
Oh my God. How cute is that?
Who's a bodega cat,
right?
that basically super cute. And I saw a little picture of the cat and he's very cute.
Of course.
And he was, his job was to kill the vermin and rodents around the
bodega mice.
Bodega.
Sure.
This is great. I love this cat. Now, what happened here? Apparently, I think there were two Waymos. One was stopped and the other one was about to go. And then the cat darted out from one under the other Waymo and drove over him.
Yeah.
Any human in this car would have done exactly the same thing. I don't think there's any way you could have known.
Sure.
And it's terrible, but it is just terrible. There's nothing you should have done differently. And
no, there is something you should have done differently. You shouldn't have had your cat outside.
It's a bodega cat.
Where coyotes are going to get it, and where it's going to get wild birds and things that it shouldn't have access. That cat doesn't belong outside.
If you're walking down the street in the Mission and you think coyotes are your biggest problem, let me tell you. That is not the case. You are way more likely to step in a big puddle of urine than you are to be attacked by a coyote in the Mission.
Sure.
Yes, generally speaking, if you have a pet cat, you want it inside. This is a working cat. It's a bodega. It's an outdoor cat. The cat's not going to just catch the ones inside. That's neither here nor there. My point is, most people, I would argue almost all people that hit and kill cats while driving their car aren't going to make very nice donations to a local animal rights organization. So what are we going to regulate them? Like, if you look at the numbers across the Waymos, they're better in every regard, including the killing of animals.
Yeah.
So it's a net positive. And this is tragic. I didn't want to see this happen, of course, but it's net positive far and wide across the board. The numbers are insane.
It turns out even with the best of technology, the laws of physics still apply.
Oh, yeah. No, when playing Rock Waymo Cat, Waymo beats cat for sure every time.
Does beat cat,
I
for
hate
sure.
to tell you. No, that part's terrible. Again, it's a terrible, tragic situation.
Yeah.
But these things still work really well. And I think for there to be local regulation, you don't have local regulation around anything else that's way worse and more tragic, including cars.
I'm not saying autonomous vehicles generally work really well. I'm saying specifically the Waymos work really well.
Yeah.
Because they put in the time and the effort, and those are the ones that are most safe. I'm not saying the Tesla is ready to do anything close to what the Waymo is doing.
I mean, you're going to get to a point where you're going to have some modicum of similarity between all the autonomous vehicle systems. There's going to be a handful of winners.
We're just not there yet.
Yeah, we're not there yet. So I can see how future AVs will be moving as a blob. They'll all be moving together. And that makes perfect sense to me. But this is like, when you had early cars and people that were used to horses and carriages and not a car that can do 30 miles an hour that broke everyone's brain. And they're like, we need local ordinance. And it's like, that's not your best option. What you need is thoughtful regulation across the whole industry for sure, but not at the local level.
In the horse and buggy days, when the horse and buggy was of course going much slower and was lovely and sort of meandering and nice, there were all kinds of people in the street.
Yeah.
People commonly were in the street selling things, doing things.
Sure.
And you had to get them out of the street.
Yeah.
And the way they did that was a campaign that was against jaywalking. And a jay was somebody who was a hick, a rube, somebody who's not sophisticated. Huh. Jaywalkers are walking in the street.
Okay.
Don't jaywalk.
And then what happened?
It worked. They shamed all those people out of the street.
Interesting.
Now you have cars in the street. For 2024, the National Highway Safety Administration counted 39,000 plus deaths in vehicle crashes. 29% of fatalities involved speeding. Autonomous vehicles don't speed, at least as of yet. 30% involved alcohol impairments, and AVs don't drink, at least as far as we know. 49% of people who died didn't use seatbelts, and autonomous vehicles won't move until the occupant buckles up.
Yeah. And by the way, those are three very easy things to fix to reduce that number from 39,000 to a lesser number.
Yeah.
But look, I think the well-built AVs, and by the way, you just cited a bunch of really good numbers. If you were to slice that into just Waymos, they'd be even better.
Sure.
But again, the point is we're all going to get there at the same point. But if you look at like just crashes, right? So fatalities is obviously the worst case scenario, but just crashes, the numbers I think are even more staggering. You're like in the 80th plus percentile for just about everything in crashes.
I have data on just Waymo.
On Waymos,
you want to separate out Waymo?
Yeah, please.
Serious injury or worse crashes, 91% fewer
in a Waymo
than human drivers. Yeah, in a Waymo.
That's amazing.
Airbag deployment crashes, 79% fewer. Any injury causing crashes, 80% fewer. Waymo also reports statistically significant reduction in crashes involving pedestrians and cyclists.
Yeah.
Pedestrian crashes with injuries, 92% fewer. Cyclist crashes with injuries, 78% fewer. Motorcycle crashes with injuries is 89% fewer.
This is why I talk to folks and they're like, oh, I can never put my child into a Waymo. And I'm like, really? What do you put them in now?
Why are you putting your kid in a car with a human driver? That's crazy.
They'll take an Uber. I'm like, the dude that smells like weed? Like, you think that's better? That doesn't sound better to me. Like, I've seen you drive. You're terrible. Like, maybe you shouldn't drive your kid around.
Well, the Waymo is scanning the road 2,000 times a second, and I am doing a fraction of that. When I drive. So, of course, the Waymo was probably better at this than I am.
But that's what you want, right? You would think you want, but they're like, oh, no, I could never do that.
This is exactly what you want.
Yeah. I just want like a Waymo decorating kit. That's what I want. Sort of like a big sticker pack so I can dress mine up however I want. That's what that would be.
I get in the Waymo and it plays back our show. It plays back this
Does
program.
it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's the car crying out for help is what that is.
It should be. Okay, enough with the headlines. In fact, enough with the episode. We have to get out of here. Special thanks to our floor director, Venkat Mudiala.
Oh, thanks, Venkit.
We'll be back later this week with our big story, Card Cons, Cheats, and Crossroaders, how to cheat at cards in 2025. Until then, thank you for listening to all this nonsense. I'm Jeff Parker.
I'm Chittle.
See you Thursday.
How if I see you first?
Say goodbye to the slide rule. Toss out those cumbersome, clattering mechanical monsters. The future of calculation isn't on your desk, it's in your pocket. Introducing the incredible, the marvelous, the Canon Pocketronic. That's right, folks. This isn't science fiction. This is science fact that you can hold in the palm of your hand. It handles addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division with lightning speed. No heavy paper rolls, no flickering displays. The Pocketronic prints your figures right onto a crisp, clean thermal tape. It's totally portable. It's lightweight. It runs on batteries so you can take it to the job site, to the lecture hall, or to the poker game. Stop by your authorized Canon dealer today and pick up the calculation sensation of the decade, the Canon Pocketronic. Smart, stylish, and right.
Oh, it would be so much better to own one that isn't correct. I'd like one that gives me the wrong answer. Just gives me an approximation of division. That'd be great. So glad they added that.
It hallucinates the answer. It's an AI calculator.
I also love that they're in this ad distinguishing between, quote, the heavy paper rolls and the thermal paper rolls that are lighter.
Which weigh nothing.
Which weigh nothing, apparently. And then if you leave them in the sun, all of your answers will disappear like magic ink.
This precedes the LCD display.
That's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing because otherwise you would have clearly had one. So it's just going straight to tape.
This is the first pocket calculator.
I mean, if your lead-in is slide rules, then that kind of tells me where you are in time-ish.
Yeah. I
don't know well enough. The 70s were pretty blurry to me, but I think I'm going to go with late 60s or early 70s. I'm going to lean more towards early-ish 70s, but let's just guess 69. 1969. You are extremely close. It is 1970. Oh, it's a 1970. Okay. All right. That's really incredible to think about how far computing has come in a relatively short period of time.
The Canon Pocketronic, smart, stylish, and right in 1970.